The freshman effort from Microsoft really is one of the most remarkable game consoles ever created, and it has become a standard bearer of the modern gaming industry. With an integrated broadband adapter, hard drive, DVD drive, and an online service, it has only been copied by every other console since its creation. But why did a software giant like Microsoft get into the video game console business? They never really had the experience building hardware, and they didn't even have a revenge scheme in mind like Sony did. The answer to that all has to do with Sega. When Sega was creating the Dreamcast, Microsoft approached them about putting Windows CE on the console. Sega agreed, and after that point, Microsoft got a taste for the video game industry and the profits that come from it. When they heard that their friend Sega was having some financial issues, they'd offered to buy the company and have Sega become Microsoft's game department. But Sega of Japan declined, and when Sega fell, Microsoft acted as a spiritual successor. If you look at the Xbox in comparison to the Dreamcast, they're nearly identical in almost every way. They both have great Sega games available for them. They both have the 4-player integrated co-op ability right into the console. The modem was upgraded into a broadband adapter, and the CD drive was upgraded into a DVD drive. Even the Xbox controller is extremely derivative of the Dreamcast controller, with the same kind of button layout but just with an analog stick extra, and a couple more buttons for good measure. Sega fans have been asking for a Dreamcast 2 for years, but they don't realize we've had one all along, the Xbox. The Xbox sold extremely well, coming into second place behind Sony's PlayStation 2 in the 6th generation of game console. But there is a couple of reasons of why it never got to that #1 spot, and the biggest, most glaring one I can think of is the size of the console. It's about the size of your average workstation computer, and it's not flat on any surface, so you can't really stack other video components on top of it. This meant in other markets like Japan, where space is a very important thing, it wouldn't do well. It's too large, it's overly big, and because of the lack of support from the Japanese domestic market, the Japanese developers stopped supporting the console as well, which is why we saw a very big drought of Japanese games for the Xbox 360. The other big problem with the console itself when it launched was the controller. Originally it came with this behemoth, a controller meant for basketball players and pretty much nobody else. It was large and unwieldy, and it just didn't feel good in your hand. Luckily, Microsoft did fix this issue and come out with the Xbox Controller S, which is the one they launched with in Japan, kind of like the Sega Saturn with a Model 1 and Model 2 controller. The Controller S is a lot more comfortable, and it's the one that most people remember. But what is a console without game? And really, the Xbox only needed one. It had the perfect system seller. I can't even think of one game that sold a system so well since Sonic the Hedgehog, and that was Halo. I'm not the biggest Halo fan in the world. I've never run through any of their campaigns, and it just seemed like a big massive waste of time, when none of my friends were doing that either. The only reason we ever played Halo was to play multiplayer, and the multiplayer was awesome. It took the entire inspiration of GoldenEye 4-player co-op multiplayer and just made everything better with the dual analog sticks and more abilities and just the fantastic sci-fi-ness of it all. It was perfect. People bought the Xbox just to play Halo. That was really the one game that everybody who had an Xbox at the time had. You had to have Halo. That was the entire purpose of owning this thing. Halo got so huge that people who played Halo actually created their own online service called Xbox Connect, so that way they could trick the system link into connecting online for them to play online multiplayer. And this actually inspired the creation of Xbox Live. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, Xbox Live was created solely for the purpose of playing Halo online, and it was integrated into the sequel, Halo 2. Luckily, Halo was not the only game available on the console, and there were a slew of others. Because of the Xbox's PC-based architecture, it ran PC games extremely well. Games like Half-Life and Half-Life 2, Doom 3, Knights of the Old Republic, and Jade Empire all are amazingly well done on the Xbox. But it had a lot of titles just made for the Xbox as well. Games like Jet Set Radio Future, Shenmue 2, Fable, Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, and of course, Psychonauts. The Xbox is a console worthy of recognition and easily deserves the #6 spot on my greatest game consoles of all time. If you're looking to watch some more stuff about the Xbox, go check out Metal Jesus Rocks' video about the Xbox's hidden gems to find some really awesome games that you should collect for the system. As always, thank you all for watching. Please go ahead and like and subscribe this video, and I'll see you all next week for #5. To buy or sell any of the games or consoles discussed in this episode, go ahead and visit GameGavel.com, the only auction site built by gamers for gamers without the high eBay fees.